Welcome back to Sports Extra Overtime. Now time for a deeper dive into the big games of Week 7. We welcome to our studio John Camosa from Clutch Sports Media. You can follow John on Twitter at JCOM91. He was at that big matchup between Washington and Dunlap tonight, a battle of state-ranked teams in the Mid-Atlantic Conference. No scoring in the first quarter. We thought it was going to be a defensive game, and it really proved out to be that.
Yeah, it certainly was, and you know, Washington's defense just proved to be the better team tonight. But that scoreless first quarter, it was really dominant on both sides. Dunlap went for it on some fourth downs. Washington went for it on fourth downs. Both teams got stuff, so nobody could really find the momentum in that first quarter. But a big spark in the second on an interception by Garrett Cox, returned for a touchdown. That really propelled Washington throughout the rest of this game.
Yeah, they just kind of dug in. We're going to see these highlights here. Again, defense is the story. A Jace Harlan sack here, a Keenan McQuarrie fumble recovery. These led to points. I mean, Washington's defense is elite.
Yeah, they're the real deal, and that's why they're number 3 in the state in Class 6A. But their defense really never lets up, and every time I've seen them this year, they just keep getting better and better. Darryl Crouch was really impressed with the defense once again tonight, but huge interception returns from Washington, and then Keenan McQuarrie might not have had the rushing yards he typically has, over 100 plus, but it was just the little things he did tonight on offense and defense.
Yeah, there's that second of the 2 pick sixes tonight, and I know that Dunlap coach Brett Caslett thought, our team is still young and they've only got 8 seniors, and maybe that showed tonight. Maybe there were nerves tonight because Washington, a veteran team, played like a veteran team and won a big game on the road.
Yeah, really Washington's defensive line up front was strong. You could see that with Dunlap, those young mental mistakes. They got the ball down to the 1 late in the third quarter, had some penalties that backed them up a little bit with false starts. So some of that young play kind of showed tonight, but Washington just truly the better team.
All right, now we take a look at what this does for the Mid-Atlantic Conference standings. Dunlap has its first loss of the year, its first loss in the league. Morton wins tonight. So the Potters are still undefeated. The Panthers are still undefeated. They've got a Week 9 game. But before we get to that game, next week it's going to be Dunlap and Morton.
Yeah, so this is going to be really the game to look forward to. We were, blessed with some games back-to-back that are going to be fun, but Washington, Canton next week, and then Morton to end the season. This could really cap off who is going to be your Mid-Atlantic Conference champion.
Yeah, the schedule makers had it figured out, right? It's all coming down to weeks 7, 8, and 9. Thanks for your work tonight, John. We'll see you next week. Now let's go to Patrick on the other side of our studio. He's got a good small school matchup in the Heart of Illinois Conference to talk about.
Thank you, Kurt. Joining us now is Steve Cease from our Twin Cities newsroom. You can follow him on Twitter at Prof Seats for score updates. Steve in Eureka tonight for the game between the Hornets and the Eureka Hornets and the El Paso Gridley Titans. Steve, big playoff implications on the line. Your initial thoughts tonight?
Well, my initial thoughts before the game, Patrick, was that this one was going to be a closer game than it was, but the EPG defense really dominated this game from start to finish. Eureka only had 4 plays the entire first quarter. 2 of them were turnovers. The defense finished with 6 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss, another 9 quarterback hurries tonight. Hornet QB Dawson Dorn, one of the best QBs in the entire Heart of Illinois Conference, just had nowhere to go tonight. Offensive line not protecting him, 5 for 15 with an interception. Senior defensive back Drew Neal for the Titans had 2 INTs against the Hornets tonight. Just a dominating defensive performance from El Paso Gridley.
Well, the defense certainly making the headlines tonight, but Cam Schumacher also with a great night for the Titans. How did he do in your eyes, Steve?
Yeah, same book, different chapter for Cam Schumacher. I mean, this kid does it all and does it every single week. Not a lot through the air tonight, just 3 for 4 for 19 yards, but he didn't need to. And why would you with 30-mile-per-hour winds out there? 42 carries for a quarterback, 217 yards, 3 scores. Cam Schumacher just getting it done week after week for El Paso Gridley.
So for El Paso Gridley now, they are now playoff eligible with 5 wins. Eureka, to control their own destiny, at least for the playoffs, they need to win out here to get to 6-3, so they're not in the hands of the committee. So what do they need to do in your eyes to try and win their last 2 games of the regular season?
Well, the feeling in the press box tonight at Eureka was next week is do or die to get to 5 wins. They're going to Ridgeview, Lexington, so they got to get a big road win against a team that went to the playoffs last year, struggling a little bit this year. They don't want that to come down to week 9 when Tri-Valley undefeated Vikings come into Eureka for senior night. They don't want that to be an elimination game. So they got to get to 5 wins next week, and they could get to 6, but the Vikings are certainly a pretty tall task week 9. EPG, pretty much for sure at this point. 5 wins. They still have winless Tremont to go.
All righty, in the last 30 seconds here, Steve, I talked with EPG at the start of the season. Their goal this year was to make it past Week 10, make it past the first round of the playoffs. Do they look like a team in your eyes that's ready to do that and make it to Week 11?
Well, you know, the one thing about Week 10 is that the weather can always be an equalizer. And with a defense this good and a quarterback that can run like Cam Schumacher, everything's pretty much on the table for the Titans moving forward.
Thank you, Steve, for your analysis. Looking forward to having you the last couple of weeks in playoff weather, as you said tonight. We got the long sleeves on for the first time this season. Once again, you can follow Steve at the Twitter handle ProfCease for score updates. Coming up.